Welcome to Better Life, Better Business, your go-to podcast for how you can grow your business, double your productivity and time off, work smarter and not harder. Brought to you by local business coaching expert Christoph Nauer, CEO of Balance 6 in Walnut Creek, California.
Welcome back to Better Life, Better Business with local business coach and time management expert Christoph Nauer of Balance 6. I'm your host, Rebecca Troxel, founder and CEO of Rebecca's Vault. It's been a couple of weeks, but we're jumping back into our series of interviewing business owners about not only what they can do to help you in your business, but what they do in their business that they face challenges and successes, along with some helpful tips in being that business owner themselves. Today, we're talking with Clarissa. Take it away, Christoph.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, and welcome everybody. Welcome back, listeners. I had the audacity to take last week off because it was my wife's birthday and our anniversary. So I took my own advice and went on a vacation.
Yay!
Yeah, not bad, right? Hello, everybody. My name is Christoph Nauer of Balance 6, and today I'm going to be talking with Clarissa Wilson, a financial strategist for online business owners. Hello, Clarissa. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm glad you enjoyed last week off.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to have you. As you know, and you listeners, the purpose of my podcast, it really is to provide excellent resources, helpful tools and tips to business owners. And that's exactly why I asked Clarissa to be a guest with us today. So Clarissa, please tell us a little bit about what it is and how you bring value to business owners and entrepreneurs.
Okay, so one of the things that I learned before I really got into doing accounting stuff in business, I was a government tax auditor, and I would go into businesses and they did not have the right tools, the right stuff set up for their business finances to be able to look at them and all of that fun. I call it fun stuff. Most other people don't call it fun. To be able to look at it and understand their numbers. When I was an auditor, I couldn't help them. But in my own business, I can actually help them to understand their numbers and then use those numbers to be able to grow their business going down the road, to help scale your business and continue to grow it. Because if you're not looking at your numbers, then you really don't know what's happening in your business.
That's absolutely true. And I think I recall from a previous conversation that we had, Clarissa, that you were a numbers cruncher and accountant back in high school?
Yeah, I started with accounting when I was in 10th grade in high school. I just fell in love with it, and I've been with accounting ever since.
Nice.
Oh, hello, listeners. I don't know. I've never met anybody before who knew and was involved with accounting at such an early age. So, well, glad to have you. And I think some of the things you're probably going to share with us on how to avoid paying Uncle Sam and keeping more of our hard-earned money in our own pockets is probably something that I would imagine every business owner would love to know, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So are you able to share some tricks and tips with us here, with our listeners, without giving away the bank?
Of course. The biggest tip or trick, it's really not even a trick, it's just a big tip, is to do your bookkeeping. Because if your bookkeeping is not done, then you don't know what your actual profit is, because your profit is what you pay tax on. But there are also things where you can reduce that profit, but you're still technically keeping the money in your own pocket. Things like a health savings account, your retirement account. Those are expenses for your business, but you're still technically keeping that money in your own pocket and not giving it to Uncle Sam.
Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, I think this is great advice. I don't know about you guys, but I work hard for my money, and I'd rather keep most of it myself or in my family than passing it off to Uncle Sam, who I don't really have control over how Uncle Sam uses our money, right?
Right.
So what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your business, Clarissa?
So The thing that I actually wish I knew when I started my business was that I actually wanted to help business owners with the accounting stuff. When I first started my business way back in 2014, I thought that I needed to get away from accounting. This is before I became a government tax auditor, which I thought was my dream job. But before that, I had lost 2 jobs as accountants because the owners of those companies didn't like me, because I have 3 college degrees, 2 of which are masters in forensic accounting. So I love research. I love digging into the numbers. So the owners of those companies didn't like me because I'm not the kind of person that can just be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. That's it. I would take processes and make them simpler. Instead of I took a process that took 5 days and got it down to 2.5 days. And they're like, no, we don't like that. It should still take 5. I'm like, okay. So I thought I needed to get away from accounting. So I started my business doing money mindset work, but then clients would come to me. They'd have questions about their business money, and the accounting stuff kept coming back. And then when I was a government tax auditor, it just made so much more sense for me to be able to take what I did as a government tax auditor, completely flip it around, and actually help business owners with their money stuff to prepare ahead of time for an audit or something like that. Because you can prepare and you can also avoid being audited.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I don't quite understand why anybody would get upset if you get something done in half the time you did.
Me neither.
I don't completely understand that either, but they did.
Yeah,
Because
well, that means it was
things.
good for you to go and leave, because let them continue to go down the wrong path, you know? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
like the saying goes, right? You can take a horse of water, you can't make it drink, right?
Right.
Exactly.
What's your biggest challenge right now, Clarissa?
My current biggest challenge is being able to manage my time between my business, my parents' farm, and my own personal self-care and taking care of my own mental health. Because my parents own a dairy farm and I'm helping them out right now. So a dairy farm is 24/7. Like, we go to the barn, we're in the barn probably 8+ hours a day, 7 days a week. And then in between those times is when I work on my business. And there's days where I don't want to go to the barn because I'm stuck doing something in my business and I want to just keep doing that, but I don't have a choice. The cows don't wait. So it's my biggest thing is just balancing between the 3 big things in my life.
Yeah, you can't say, hey, sorry, cow, I don't have time right now. I'll see you in a couple hours.
Right.
What are some of the best resources that have helped you along the way?
Okay, so I have always taken a lot of courses. Like I said, I started way back in 2014. I take on average 10 courses a year, and I read a lot of books. So I had to pick a couple that were my favorites. The best courses that I've taken are Bill Mueller's Story Sales Machine, because I really suck at telling stories. I'm an accountant. I give you the straight facts. Like, that, I give you what I see, and people don't tend to like that on a sales page. And then Trina Little's Video Strategy Academy, that's to help make more videos for my business, because I know I need to get out there and make more videos. Those are for the courses. For books, The Magician's Way by William Whitecloud. I absolutely love that book. I read it first on my Kindle, and then I have it on audiobook, so I can continue to listen to it on a regular basis.
Nice.
And then also learning breath work, because none of us, like, we don't breathe like you should. Like, way back before electronics were a big thing, we take really shallow breaths. So I learned breath work, and it's actually helped with my mental health a lot.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, so you can listen to audios even when you milk the cows, right? So you can.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So you are an entrepreneur and you're a solo entrepreneur, I think. So
Yes.
what role does delegating play in your business?
So actually, the role that delegating plays is that people actually delegate to me because I'm an accountant. So people hire me to help with the money stuff in their business. So I'm actually the one that gets delegated to. Currently in my business, the only thing I delegate out is video editing. I don't like doing video editing, so I delegate that out.
Well, good. I mean, that's fantastic. But, recognizing what you're really good at and doing that and focusing on that, and the rest of the stuff that whatever can be done by somebody else, you want to delegate, absolutely. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so being a solopreneur like myself, I can fully understand that there's a lot to get done on your plate. And our viewers know that prioritization is a big part of the work that Christoph does. And it's a topic we bring up often. And we've discussed everything from the 80-20 rule, the ABCDE method. How do you procrastinate? How do you procrastinate? How do you prioritize in your life and your business? It's Friday.
So basically I have 4 buckets. One is client tasks. One is course creation when I'm actually creating a course, because I love teaching. So I just create courses regularly. Okay. One is content creation. And the last one is admin stuff for your business, like the stuff you just can't get away from. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Client tasks always come first. So when I start a day, if I have client tasks that needs to be done, those are what comes first. And then I split the time between content and course creation. Admin, I usually schedule on Friday mornings to get the admin stuff done.
Nice. It's like you have your own ABCDE method there with your buckets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can delegate. That you can prioritize. That's true. And the key is that you don't do a task that is not critically important, as long as you have tasks that are critically important. Some of the things that Brian Tracy talks about in his book, Eat That Frog, so as long as there are frogs out there to eat, those need to be done first before you dabble in other tasks that are not that critically important.
Right.
As a business owner, you have a lot of responsibilities. What do you do to make sure that everything gets done?
Okay, so based on what I just explained for how I prioritize, at the beginning of every week, I will make a list of all the things that need to be done that week. And then I plan each day at the beginning of the day. So I will pick things from that list that need to be done and put them in my top 3 for the day. And then once they're crossed off, then I'm good to go. And I can work on other things that are on the list if I need to.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, you said something critically important. You plan your day. Fantastic. So many of my clients say, I don't have time for planning. And then I say to them, well, 1 minute of planning can save you up to 10 minutes in execution. So it is worth your time to plan. So thank you for saying that, for sharing that. So you're doing what is needed to do. So
yeah. It really only takes like 2 to 3 minutes to just pick your top 3 things and plan out your day.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It does not take that long. Exactly.
Right.
You may or may not know that only about 3% of people have written goals for their businesses and their lives. How do you handle goal setting? And I assume you're part of the 3%.
I am, yes. So I have a digital planner that I keep on my iPad, and that's where I do my weekly planning, my daily planning, but there's also a spot on there for my goals. So every day I will actually rewrite out my goals so that I can actually check in on them. And if I need to, I can edit them.
Wow. That puts you way ahead of the game. I can tell you that from personal experience. Yeah. Yes. Because all successful people, that's what they do. They are single-handedly focused on their goals. And most of them interact with their goals on a regular basis, whether it's weekly or monthly, but it's definitely, that's what people do. And it sounds like you're doing that weekly.
Yes.
That's wonderful. As all our listeners know, that one of the 6 in my business name, Balance 6, is money. And that seems to be your expertise, Clarissa.
Yes.
Do you have some tips and tricks for business owners in this regard?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we already talked about doing your business bookkeeping. Like at a minimum, it should be done on a monthly basis. I recommend to do it weekly so that you're still looking at it, because my other recommendation is to have a money meeting on a weekly basis. You sit down with all of your business finances on a weekly basis. It's at max, it takes about a half hour to do this once you actually get started with your money meetings. And you just go through your numbers and look and see what's happening in your business. Look at the profit and see if you have a profit in your business. Because I've had clients who they don't have profit in their business. They're making lots of money, but they're spending all of that money too. So when you have these money meetings, you're actually looking at what's happening, and you need to know what's happening in your business. If not, your business can actually be failing and you don't know that it is.
So I love that concept of a money meeting. Now, are you part of the money meeting, or are your clients supposed to do that on their own, or do you participate in that and help them with that?
Okay, so if it's my actual client, I can participate in it. We do it once a month after I send their monthly statements. But for people that are not my clients, then I don't participate in it. I can if you want me to. I do have one-off sessions where you can pay me, but it just depends on whether they're a client or not. That's just my recommendation, is to have the money meeting.
I love it.
We've talked a lot about a lot of tools and tips and tricks, but what about the people in your life? Who have been some of the people that have been most influential to you?
Okay, so I kind of already mentioned my parents with their dairy farm. I mean, obviously a dairy farm is your own business. So that has always been influential to me. And then two other people that have really been influential have been Melanie Ann Layer and Amanda Francis. I have learned a lot from those two over the past 2 to 3 years with my business.
Nice.
Good. Well, fantastic. So thank you so much for taking the time, Clarissa. So I would imagine by now our listeners are probably wondering, how on earth can we get in touch with Clarissa to learn more about how she can save us money on taxes? And so how can our audience connect with you online? How do they find you? What's the best way for them to reach you?
So the best way would be on my website, nerdynumberlovers.com, or you can also find me on Instagram, which is clarissaaWilson.com. Just Clarissa A. Wilson, sorry.
Okay.
Excellent.
Wonderful. So you can, that sounds fantastic. We'll put all that information in the description of the recording so people can actually just click on it and get in touch with you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Clarissa, for having a conversation with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. To our viewers, if you or someone you know would like help and guidance on growing your profits like we've talked about today with Clarissa, make sure you check out Christoph's website at balance6.biz. There you can learn more about Christoph and get his free report, 5 Secrets for Putting Your Business Growth on Autopilot. Thank you for coming back and joining us. And until next time, keep working on prioritizing and having a better life and better business.
This week's episode of Better Life, Better Business is brought to you by CA&C Video Productions. Since 1985, CA&C Video has been providing live streaming, event production, and analog to digital transfer services. They capture those life-changing moments, preserving your history for current and future generations. Because your history matters. Visit their website at cacvideo.com. Thank you so much for your sponsorship.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening to another episode of Better Life, Better Business with business and time management coach Christoph Nauer with Balance 6, the leading business and time management company in Northern California. Visit them at balance6.biz.